Hey guys, it's Phantom here, and in today's video, I am going to tell you why I absolutely despise Wizard City. Now, I want to be clear that I am only referring to this version of Wizard City that you do see before you, the updated Wizard City with all of its updated graphics and quest lines and whatnot. However, I do want to say also that I only dislike certain aspects about it. However, these certain aspects, about the whole new updated Wizard City and everything really, contribute to kind of diminishing the nostalgic memories that I have for the world as a whole, and I'll, get more into that in a second. But I do want to say that this video was inspired from Noah's video where he talked about Wizard City as a whole, and he stated that it was a world of nostalgia, plagued by updates, and that pretty much, I watched that video and I realized that our opinions are very much in line, actually, just concerning Wizard City as a world. So if you have already seen that video, then you probably know, like, roughly what I'm going to talk about in this one. But if you haven't already, I would encourage you to go ahead and watch that right now. So I will go ahead and leave a link in the description so you can do that. You better go do that. I'm warning you. Now that that's out of the way, oh my god, we have Wizard City, one of my most favorite worlds of the game. Is my guy floating on the bridge there? Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and correct that error real quick. Anyways though, yeah, we have the world of Wizard City right here in front of us in all of its updated glory. So yes, I really did used to like Wizard City as a world, and when they did announce that they were actually going to update the graphics of Wizard City, I was personally really excited, because obviously the graphics of this game aren't really that good. It was the first time that we had ever gotten a graphical update on anything, and I thought it would sort of just bring a whole new, like, magical type feel to the world and really only improve it from that point onward. And I was absolutely right. The graphical changes that were made to Wizard City as a result of that update back in 2018 really did instill Wizard City with just newfound life, that new players and old players could just appreciate as a whole. I really do like the graphical changes, and I want to say just right now that that is one aspect that I absolutely love about the new Wizard City. However, it isn't very good for the nostalgia factor. Now, that's not really an issue, though. That isn't really an issue. I'm just going to put it at the beginning of the video just because it kind of contributes to that. Of course, the game does look nice, and I think that Wizard City did very badly need, some graphical updates, because if I go to, where's classic mode? Hold on. Oh, wait, no, it's probably it's probably in the visual stuff. So hold on. Let's just go back to classic mode real quick. Yeah, and just, like, see, see what it actually did used to look like. It's pretty different. It's a pretty drastic change, as you can imagine. I mean, definitely a lot more nostalgic, though, for someone who has been playing the game for quite a long time. But yeah, so obviously the graphical changes, they weren't good for nostalgia, but they were good for just the overall feel of the game. So I can appreciate that, I can appreciate that, and I can look past that. And of course, there is an option of classic mode right here where you can just turn it on and kind of revisit some of that nostalgia as you look upon the world that you once knew so well as a child, right before it was updated. I really do appreciate that they have this feature. However, there is no feature that exists where you can actually go ahead and revert to the classic quest lines of each area. And oh man, does that really grind my gears. Now, I understand that, like, a change like that would pretty much be just impossible to add because they're literally changing the base game, but that kind of brings me to the main problem that I wanted to discuss in this video regarding Wizard City and the nostalgia that I once had for it. They changed the quests, man. They changed so many quests within the world of Wizard City that honestly, just besides the whole look and feel of the whole thing, it's totally different. It's absolutely totally different just concerning the actual storyline when it comes to each one of the streets within the city. Unicorn Way, Old Town, Firecat Alley, of course Triton Avenue. You might recognize some of these names as areas that were part of the first world of this game. All of their storylines are different now as a result of King's Isle changing all of the quests to adhere to a, new first-time user experience model that they believed would be more successful in helping players, be more drawn to the game and actually, like, inspire them to continue past the paywall and everything. I just don't really understand it, because I feel like what makes this game great, like really, really great for a lot of people, and just kind of like the bow that you tie on a present, is the nostalgia, man. The nostalgia in this game is just so good. It is absolutely rooted throughout it, just because the game, you know, came out a very, very long time ago, and of course it got popular, and that's kind of when people started playing it. And it's survived till now, which just has allowed for a lot of nostalgia to build up in a lot of people's heads, and probably makes them, and is probably one of the driving forces why a decent amount of people still actually do play this game. And it's like if you suddenly take away lots of different aspects about the game that people did find to be nostalgic, well, you know, a lot of those good memories, I mean, they don't necessarily fade, but I feel like when you're going throughout the world and just going about your business and everything, it's just a lot less powerful, you know. You just feel a lot less, because the world is pretty much foreign to you at that point, you know. You don't really recognize the very same game that just made you happy all those years ago. Take someone like me, for instance, a veteran player who's been playing the game since 2010 or 2011, someone who is very well versed in the world of Wizard City, very familiar with it and all of the nostalgia that it brings, and then completely change every single aspect about that world that has been rooted in my memory, in, you know, kind of the positive memories tab of my mind, and yeah, just change everything. It's like, do you think I'm gonna be happy about it? What about all of the other veteran players that make up such a large portion of Wizard101's fanbase? You know, do you think they're going to be happy either when they discover that one of the only reasons why they're still playing the game, I guess, okay, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but just hear me out, right? What do you think they're gonna say when, oh god, it's doing the bridge thing again. What do you think they are going to say when they find out that something that they've held near and dear for so long is just completely and utterly changed, and how Kaiser Noah put it, absolutely plagued by all of these new updates that, you know, only really you think is going to better the game? So yeah, if you couldn't already tell, I'm not a very big fan of them changing the quests in all of the different streets throughout Wizard City. I don't really understand what they were thinking when they made the change. Well, okay, obviously they were thinking that it was going to, I guess, maybe, you know, if a player tried the game, for instance, maybe it would be more likely to make them stay if they had, like, more, you know, vibrant and peppy dialogue, but I'm just, you know, I hear some of it, right? I inspect some of these updates, and I just wonder why they made some of the choices that they did. Like, I don't think that the new story, or not even really the new story, but kind of the reimagining of the Wizard City storyline, I don't understand why they did it, because it just doesn't, like, the actual storyline, it's not any better. All it really is to me is just more annoying, you know, when you took characters that were once tolerable and just kind of turned everything into like a cartoon. I don't know, man, like, it just doesn't fit that same feel of the game that I feel like a lot of the other worlds have, especially in the first arc. It just doesn't go really that well with all of it. And I understand that it is the first world and everything, but I think that what we had before was totally fine and did not need to be changed, and you could still, like, have your cake and eat it too, because you still had a really good storyline, and of course, all the nostalgia that comes with it. Just tell me right now, and hear me out for a second, do you really believe that someone would be more likely to play the game of Wizard101 consistently if they knew that nowadays there is a shift, there was a little tiny shift in the storyline that involved Susie and her brother Arter switching roles in Triton Avenue? Like, I don't think so. I don't think so. Like, to me, this update with all of the quests was really just for the worst. All it did was ruin a lot of the nostalgia that Wizard City once had, you know, in all of the old dialogue and everything, which, by the way, it was just perfectly fine. Like, it all sounded perfectly fine. It all flowed coherently. There was just nothing inherently wrong with it. Yet you decide to change it because you really do think that players will become more invested if that's the case? Because I don't really know. Like, are there more people playing Wizard101 after those first-time user experience updates? Because if I could see some statistics, then, you know what, maybe I'd be on your side, but I just don't think it's making enough of a difference, and I feel like the good, I guess the so-called good, that comes from it doesn't really outweigh the bad. But Phantom, they added Lizzo into Firecat Al. Nope, no, sir. I don't want to hear it, alright? I don't want to hear it from any of you. I do not see any good that could really actually come out of this situation. It just makes no sense. Why change the entirety of a world that you knew, that was beloved, that the world was beloved from the very beginning by such a large majority of your player base? King's Isle, like, what are you doing? You can't just add an evil bunny into the game and then expect people to just realize that this game isn't like other girls and then decide to pursue it for the rest of their lives. It's not gonna work that way. It's not. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. But yeah, I think I've pretty much said what has needed to be said for this video. So as always, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this video, and of course subscribe to the channel. We actually did recently just hit 12k subs at the time of me recording this, so I just want to say thank you all so much for that, and I cannot wait to see where this channel goes next. But as always, I will see you all in the next video or stream, whenever that may be, so take care and peace out, everyone.